To the witness.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, our witness. I'm Jacqueline Sabao, Member of Parliament for Jiga and Kata constituents. I'm the Vice Chairperson of this Select Committee. You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, witnesses. I'm Emmanuel Banda, Member of Parliament for Muchinga constituents. Muchinga, that is in Serenje District of Central Province, and not Muchinga Province. Thank you.
Good afternoon, witness. My name is Sibes Okakoma Sefo, a Member of Parliament for Monti constituency in the Western Province and a member of the Select Committee.
Good afternoon, George Kasabila Kandafula, Member of Parliament, Serenje. Thank you.
Good afternoon, witness. My name is Mishek Mtetwa Nyambose. I represent the wonderful people of Chasefu constituency in Eastern Province and a member of the committee.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, YWCA. My name is Muvita Anakoka, a Member of Parliament for Luena constituency in Western Province. You're welcome.
Secretariat.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Can I Kambita your back?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. My name is Brian Kambita, Member of Parliament for Zambezi East constituency in Northwestern Province, a member of this Select Committee.
Good afternoon. I'm N.A.B from the Office of the Clerk.
Permanent witness.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, witness. My name is David Mwengwe. I'm Parliamentary Counsel from Ministry of Justice. Thank you.
Media. Thank you, witness. I am Imanga of Nyima Jr., Member of Parliament for Nalolo constituency in Western Province and the Chairperson of this Select Committee. Witness, I would like to take this opportunity to confer you with Cap 12, which is immunity provided for under the same Act, ensuring that whatever you submit before this committee should be factual, or the reverse is applied should you mislead this committee. Witness, you are guided to begin your submission and focus on the salient features of your submission. In this regard, I do beg witness that we proceed from page 2, where you begin addressing the specifics of your submission. You are free, however, to summarize your introduction from your submission. Witness, you may proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, committee, for inviting us to this presentation. As YWCA, we are a national organization covering all the provinces in Zambia, and we are here mandated by our members to come and make this submission because we believe that things have evolved, the democratic space has evolved, socio-economic issues are different, and we definitely need changes in the constitution. But in so submitting, Chair, we also recognize that as we amend the constitution, it needs to be broad-based in terms of consultation, and we also need to take time to ensure that the constitution that will come out of this process will stand the test of time. And with this background, Chair, I here submit that the first item that we are submitting is on the process and timing of the amendment. Right now, Chair, people are in the voting mode. They are in elections which are happening next year in August. So we feel that this is not the right time to do the amendment to finalize the constitution. The process which has commenced, we support. But we are submitting that this process should go beyond the election so that we have adequate time to address these issues. And secondly, we are also submitting that the amendment should not be in piecemeal. As Zambians, we have also been calling for the amendment of Part 3, the Bill of Rights, so that we enshrine the social, cultural, and economic rights, which are definitely will provide protection and guarantee the rights, especially for women, youth, and children that are very marginalized in terms of accessing these rights. So we submit that we go beyond the election period so that we also amend the Bill of Rights to guarantee these social, economic, and cultural rights. So our major submission is that the process of amending the constitution should proceed beyond the elections in 2026. Secondly, on the composition of the National Assembly, Chair, members, we support the proposed increase in the elected number of parliamentary seats from 156 to 211. We recognize that in 2016 up to now there's been a big increase in the population, and I think the development is not reaching the corners of Zambia. So having this delimitation and also ensuring that the seats are increased will increase the way our members of parliament will be interacting and bringing development to the country. However, the delimitation of constituencies we are proposing is that it should be guided by the principle of equity and grounded in the demographic and geographical realities on the ground, by ensuring that this process is not skewed in favor of any particular region, but promotes balanced and fair representation. We are talking about the delimitation, but we have not seen the delimitation report, so we don't know what is in that report. So we are asking that this should not be kept confidential. Let the people know when we're talking about delimitation, which constituencies are being delimited. Thirdly, on the proportional representation, we support the introduction of the mixed member electoral system, which allocates seats to women, youth, and persons with disabilities, who are very, very missing in parliament and also at local government level at the moment. So we do welcome the committee's recommendation for 40 seats to be allocated, 16 for women, 12 for youth, and 12 for persons with disabilities. So that, and also for providing that this is clearly articulated in the Constitution, so that there is consistency in application of this. However, we also further propose that an additional clause be included to ensure that when we talk about the 12 youth and the 12 persons with disabilities, there should be gender equality in terms of allocation to men and women, to female and male youths and persons with disabilities. In as much as we agree with the mixed member, with coming up with the mixed member representation electoral system, we also find that if we do not put in another clause that will safeguard the participation of women, we may actually be shooting ourselves in the foot as women. Why we are saying so is that the current practice right now, we are seeing very few women being adopted by political parties. So the danger might be that they may see this clause as yet another way of sidelining women from the seats that are going to be elected. They will be telling the women, no, we've allocated 20 seats for you, so we can't nominate, we can't adopt you for the elective seats. So we need a safeguard in the Constitution, and our proposal is looking at Article 6, which governs political parties, so that we put a clause there that will mandate political parties to at least adopt 50% of women, in line with the SADC protocols and the SADC protocol and the CEDAW, which guides us as a Zambia. We have signed to it and we've domesticated in our national laws.
Moving along with the submissions that have already started, our submission number 4, in line with the increment in the number of nominated MPs. We support the proposed increase in the number of nominated members of parliament from 8 to 10. However, these nominations should uphold gender parity in line with Article 259(1)(b) and (c) of the Constitution, which requires that appointment to public offices, including those made by the President, reflect gender balance. We therefore propose the inclusion of a clause explicitly stating that such nominations shall reflect gender parity. The recommendation of the Technical Committee should be strengthened by including a sub-article mandating equal appointment of men and women among the nominated members of Parliament. Our submission number 5 on by-elections. The current provision, Article 57(1) of the Constitution, provides that where a vacancy occurs in the office of Member of Parliament, Mayor, Council Chairperson or Councillor, a by-election shall be held within 90 days of the occurrence of the vacancy. Our observation on the proposed amendment are that the proposed revision to Article 57(1) appears to address only vacancies arising from independent members of Parliament holding constituency-based seats, independent mayors, council chairperson and councillors. It is silent on vacancies involving party-affiliated MPs and mayors. This selective focus introduces ambiguity risking undermining the principle of equal treatment across electoral categories, and may precipitate a constitutional crisis in the event of contested interpretations and inconsistent application. We strongly, therefore, recommend retaining the current wording of Article 57(1), which inclusively covers all elected offices, whether held by independent or party-affiliated representatives. However, we propose a substantive amendment to the implementation mechanism to address the financial and administrative burden of frequent by-election. In lieu of conducting by-election, we therefore propose that the runner-up candidate from the previous election, regardless of party affiliation or independent status, be declared the duly elected representative in the event of vacancy. This approach would firstly ensure continuity in representation without prolonged vacancies. Secondly, significantly reduce public expenditure associated with organizing by-elections. And lastly, allow resources to be redirected to critical sectors such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. The rationale for this proposal is that the current practice of holding by-elections within 90 days places a considerable financial strain on the national budget. Declaring the next eligible candidate as successor would uphold democratic representation while enhancing fiscal prudence. Thank you. I submit.
In addition, on tenure of office for the mayors, we do not support the proposal to remove the two-term limit for the mayors. Retaining the term limit is vital for promoting democratic renewal, accountability, preventing the concentration of power in individuals. Further, if the nation is truly committed to enhancing youth participation in governance, it is imperative to create opportunities for new leaders to emerge rather than allowing individuals to, with entrenched political capital, perpetually hold on to elective offices. We therefore do not support the recommendation by the Technical Committee to abolish the two to 5-year term limit for the mayor and council chairperson. Accordingly, we strongly propose that the two-term limit to be extended to the members of parliament. The Technical Committee acknowledged that this was the wish of the majority of submissions. However, its recommendation to retain the status quo does not reflect the will of the Zambian people. We therefore strongly recommend that the expressed will of the people should prevail. This reform is essential to fostering political diversity, empowering youth and emerging leaders, and upholding constitutional principles of equity, accountability, and democratic governance. Number 7, ministers' vacant office before election. We support the proposal that ministers vacate the office at least 90 days before a general election to promote a level playing field and uphold the integrity of the electoral processes. This measure is essential to prevent the potential of misuse of state resource and undue influence arising from executive incumbents during election campaign, thereby strengthening public confidence in the fairness and transparency of elections. We understand that the MPs are policymakers. If they vacate within 90 days, the permanent secretary will take the responsibility. I submit.
Honorable members, our 8th submission is on the continuity of the Attorney General and the Solicitor General. We recommend that the officers of the Attorney General and the Solicitor General be appointed in an independent and transparent mechanism with a clear separation from partisan interests. Specifically, we propose that these officers be appointed by an independent Judicial Service Commission to the President rather than through direct executive discretion. This approach will safeguard the independence of the officers, ensure that their tenure is not tied to the term of the President, and strengthen their ability to perform constitutional duties and legal duties without political interference. consequently, we further recommend that the mandate of the Judicial Service Commission be explicitly expanded to include appointment of the Attorney General and the Solicitor General. With regards to the operationalization of the Gender Equity and Equality Commission, we note with concern that the Gender Equity and Equality Commission, established under Article 231 of the Zambian Constitution, Amendment number 2 of 2016, has not yet been fully operationalized. The Commission is mandated to promote, monitor and enforce gender equality and equity across all sectors. We therefore propose the addition of Article 231(4) to read as follows. A. Parliament shall ensure the full operationalization of the Gender Equity and Equality Commission by providing adequate funding, ensuring the timely ratification of the commissioners, and supporting appropriate staffing and administrative structures. B. Parliament shall enact such laws and regulations as may be necessary to give effect to this article. I submit.
In conclusion, Chair, committee members, as YWCA, we do support constitutional reforms that are inclusive, gender responsive, and reflective of the aspirations of all Zambians. We submit these recommendations in good faith and urge that the principles of transparency, participation, and equity be upheld throughout the process. The final outcome must reflect the submissions received from the Zambian people, and we reiterate our call for the consultation period to extend beyond the 2026 elections. As acknowledged by the Technical Committee, the Bill of Rights should also be tackled to ensure that economic, social, and cultural rights are guaranteed. We submit, Chair.
Thank you, witness. Honorable members, that's a submission from YWCA. We may now interact with them. Honorable Banda.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you so much to the witness for the well articulated submission. My question is on the submission that you made on the, I think, on the proportional vote for the women. Rather, I heard you mention something like it must also be enshrined in the Constitution that political parties should adopt 50% of their candidates who should be women. Now, looking at the fact that already, you know, it is what is happening is that there is some sort of trying to cure the low numbers of women in Parliament. Hence, the 20 seats already allocated, you know, that are not being competed for. And you still mention that 50%. Are you implying that, you know, if 50% of women have been adopted and they all go through, then with the 20%, and from the youths also maybe we may have women, then Parliament should have more than 50% women? Is that what you want, but you are saying it indirectly? Chair, I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Banda. Honorable Kambita.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm struggling to put the the mouthpiece closer to me because of the positioning. YWCA, I want to sincerely thank you for your comprehensive submission and well articulated submissions from the whole group. I've got 3 questions for you, and I'll ask each one of them, of course, at this short, since the chair has given me the floor. The first one is around your submission on page 3 concerning incrementing the number of nominated members of Parliament. I heard you clearly submit that you support the proposed increase in the number of nominated members of Parliament from 8 to 10. However, you've put a caveat there where you're saying that, or suggestion, where you are saying that nominations should uphold gender parity. And of course, being a gender-based organization, it's expected that you'll be skewed towards gender parity. However, I also wanted you to take judicial notice that mainly the nominations that the president is given to make are aimed at achieving what you are already suggesting. If we codified this into the Constitution, don't you think that there will be a situation where, all things being equal, the outcome of the elections is never known before the results come out? So, granted that even if women were adopted, several of them, it doesn't stop because of the liberties people have. It doesn't stop the men to contest in those constituencies. And then the outcome of elections comes out in such a way that mostly it's women who go through and they are lesser men, or vice versa. Now, in the president's nomination, he has to take care of that. But if it is codified in the Constitution, will he have that liberty to try and balance and achieve what you are exactly trying to achieve, if we put it in the Constitution? So I wanted you to think about that for a moment. I'm just trying to make you think around putting it in the Constitution versus having the leeway now to achieve what you want to achieve after the elections. The second question, Chairperson, is around the tenure of office for mayors. And in their submission, they are talking about preventing the concentration of power in individuals. And then they believe that the status quo should remain the way it is, in the way there is a restriction in terms of 2 terms, up to 10 years. Because according to your submission, you believe that this should help not to concentrate power in individuals. But again, I want you to take judicial notice of the fact that the prerogative of choosing who should be in that seat is vested in the people. The people are the ones who have the power to put the individual there. So it's not the individual to perpetuate himself to come each time. He can actually be changed within the period. So now, that being the case, would you still maintain that the power would be concentrated in an individual? Because the power actually is with the people. They can choose to retain him or choose not to retain him. So what effect then will it have for restricting this? If people instead, given the liberties, people actually wanted that same individual as the best performing one, and they want to retain him for the next time, if we restrict it in the Constitution, would they be able to do that? They wouldn't. So I wanted you to think about that as well. Chairperson, I'm exhausting my questions. The last one is in your conclusion concerning your call for expanding this conversation about constitution making process or amendment to beyond 2026 elections. I just want to find out from you, why are you tying it around the elections issue? Because we have had all this time, and now where are you getting this thinking from? Could you back it with any legal backing, a provision in the laws which guide, because we're dealing with the law here, which guide that you can only touch the Constitution, amend, even when we just want to amend so that we delimitate constituencies, because there is big need. The population is now 22 million. The 156 constituencies were based on a population which was slightly around maybe 10 million. Even when we have a need, then we want to procrastinate this activity just because of a gut feeling. Because what you are advancing here, witness, appears to be a gut feeling, not backed by the law. The law empowers even an individual like you to move a motion to ensure that the Constitution is amended in order to suit the situation. The law is supposed to be a living organism. I submit, Chairperson, with a mouthful of my questions. I hope they can be responded to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Witness, you are free to respond.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, committee members, for the questions that you have posed to the YWCA based on our submission. I'll start responding, and my colleagues will join me and add on what I may leave behind. So, on the Parliament, I think we have been signing a lot of where we have been committing ourselves as a Zambia to say we want gender equality. The SEDO, which we have domesticated in our Gender Equity and Equality Act. So we need to walk the talk. Right now, 15%, and we are the majority in the country. So we want this proactivity. What is currently happening now is women are not, in most cases, very few are being adopted. If we had to look at the figures of how many women were adopted by political parties. So we need to ring-fence this good provision of the proportional representation, where we are saying we want the 16 seats are guaranteed for women. We don't want political parties now saying we can't adopt you as a candidate for an elective seat because you've got a seat on from the 16. We are going to even reduce the 15% that we currently have on the elected seats. So going to political parties, and it is, please don't even ask me to say there are no women. Women are actually, we have a lot of women who are capable of standing. So our proposal that we look at Article 60, which talks about political parties, I think is something that can cure the deficit of women on these elected seats. The increase in the number of, when there is, for instance, a number of women are elected to to Parliament, what would be wrong? Because that is the current status right now. Why are we not asking ourselves that what can we do differently to have more women? Right now the status quo is that we have a lot of 85% of men. So what would be different from having more women in Parliament? So we want, what we are pushing for is gender equality in Parliament. If we by chance we have more women, there would be nothing wrong, because right now we have more men. So what would be wrong for a short period of time for women to be slightly more? But what we are pushing for is gender equality. We would like to see a situation, if there is a difference, it should be by 2%, maybe 5%. And then the other aspect of the president being at liberty to choose, I think the Constitution guides to say you nominate the skills, you nominate maybe based on gender equality, but we are seeing the nominations coming up which are not taking consideration of especially the gender parity. The last nominations, did we have, and women are very few in Parliament. And Honorable, in your submission you said the president wants to cure the deficit in Parliament. But we are not seeing this happening. So we would want a deliberate clause that will actually address that and ensure that that power that is invested in the president is actually speaking to what he's supposed to be doing in terms of ensuring that there is gender parity. With the aspect of tenure of mayors, we are coming from, I think we've got a history where we only had one president who was not being challenged and was going on and on. We, the Zambian people, said, let's put a term limit on the presidency. So what would be wrong with, it's not like that the president didn't want to continue or the people didn't want him, but we, the Zambian people, said we want to put a term of office for the presidency. So the same way that we put a term limit for the presidency, we can also do the same for the mayor position. There is no shortage of leadership, and there's nobody who's indispensable. And expanding the consultations, we have been on ground. I think a lot of people are just hearing about constitution making. They don't even know what we are talking about. Very few privileged people. So if this document is truly meant for the Zambian people, let's not leave the people who are in the remote areas. So our proposal that we go beyond the 2026 is to allow for more consultation, so that as we are saying this is our document that should stand the test of time, most people have come on board and they've understood. And we are saying election period, because we are the elections are taking place next year. That's why we're saying let's go beyond the election period. Of course, we are not saying that there is anything in the constitution or any law that says you cannot hold the amendments of a constitution around this time, but the principles of consultation, I think, is what is asking us to extend, so that more people should be brought on board. They should understand the contents of this law that we are proposing to them. And we also want the Bill of Rights. It will call for a referendum. So within this period, honestly, we cannot do that. I don't know, I'll ask my members to come in and just add.
Just an additional, Chair. I think the Constitution is our right to participate as Zambia. And when you look at this Constitution, it's ours, it's our document. We elected you as Member of Parliament to represent us. And right now we are also proposing what we feel that's supposed to be enshrined in the Constitution. And for me, this is not a political mileage. It's something that we need to be instituted, and we need everyone to participate. And we feel you should listen. And also for the tenure, we have seen MPs be 30 years as MPs. For me, this is not loyalty where you're coming as a chief to be 30 years. We need new people, we need new blood. Our children need also to take up this leadership. So we feel the 5-year term it would be good even for people to be on speed to do the right thing.
Witness. The current constitutional amendment bill number 7 talks of term limits for mayor and council chairperson. Nothing to do with MPs, nothing to do with the presidents. So let us stick to the objects of the bill. I know that you want to introduce this extended, but the objects of the bill for us is within that. So as the honorable member asked, maybe you can respond with regards to mayors, why you feel districts and councils should be changing mayors every 5 years. And perhaps I can add, where is this happening in the world, where you feel where there are term limits for mayors and council chairpersons successfully working every 5 years, every 10 years? Where is it working?
Thank you very much, Chair. And apologies if we've overstepped, but we feel that there are certain things that we need to talk about for which are not covered in here. And I think in our proposal you did hear that we've actually proposed that we extend this 10-year limit to the parliamentarians yourselves. And this is something, when you read the report from the technical committee, that is what the Zambian people want. So we are, even if we make reference to it, it is because that is what we want as Zambians. So speaking about where it has ever happened, there's always, where it has happened, that was the beginning. And we ride on that. So why can't it also start, if it has never happened anywhere else, why can't we also start here in Zambia, so that other people, the question you're asking, Chair, where in the world, they'll be saying Zambia. So we are proposing, if it is not happening anywhere else, we can also be the starters of this thing. Did you want to say something?
Okay, all right. Thank you, witness, for submission. Honorable Banda, then just bank your response. Then Honorable Nakoka and Honorable Akambita, so that you can attend to the concerns.
Thank you so much. I just want to put up a question on the response from the witness regarding the 10-year limit for members of parliament, council chairpersons, and even councillors. That's what she said. That's what she said.
Just for guidance, honorable members and witness, your witness, you are submitted on the objects of Bill 7, not on the technical committee report. So we do take note you are making reference to the technical committee report. They appeared here and made their submission. So your submission is to the objects of the bill, which has nothing to do with members of parliament, and nothing to do with the presidency. So we would like to stick to that, so that we are discussing the bill. We are not discussing currently the technical committee report. It came here, and the technical committee made their submission. So we understand your passion on that issue. It is well understood, and you are entitled to it as an organization. But can you please stick to the objects of the bill? Honorable Banda, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I think let me leave it, since it was outside what we are supposed to. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Anakoka.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick one. I would like to make a follow-up question on your passioned submission that the term limit for council chairpersons and mayors must remain at 2 terms, and contrast it with my noting that in your submission you have not opposed, you have not commented actually on the 10-year requirement as it sits currently in the Constitution for one to be appointed to the position of Secretary to the Cabinet. In other words, 10 years is looked at as a good basis for gaining sufficient experience to perform a serious function. And it's there in a number of situations that you need 10 years experience. The distinction you are making between elected positions, specifically council chair and mayors, is it on the assumption that the work that these officers do is one that one doesn't actually require to be grounded in the operations of those entities, or it's genuinely based on your submission that young ones must also come through? Because if we are to apply that principle, we must apply it throughout. Judges, the rest of the civil service, the parastatal sector, everywhere, the education sector. You work, you reach 15 years, well, you must be retired. A 5-year experience, a teacher with 5 years experience can also be a headmaster. Should we apply that principle to all the sectors? Thank you, Chair.
Okay, proceed, Donna.
And then I also just want you to marry to that on how we want to get the youths into parliament. Because we need to remember also that the jobs that we do, it's very, very difficult in Zambia to reintegrate a politician into any service. So as we are inviting the youths to come and occupy these positions, here is a 21-year-old who's coming. They leave their career, they join politics, council chairs and mayors. After they serve the country for 10 years, there is no reintegration. So then where do we expect those youths to reintegration doesn't, it's very, very difficult in our African countries for reintegration. I have observed in other countries, the Europe, someone is able to serve and they are reintegrated into, I can come and work for the YWCA. But the moment you see that I'm honorable, that would be just disqualification for me to be reintegrated. So those youths that serve for 10 years that we are proposing they should come, our children, after 10 years, where do we take them with their experience? The council chairs and mayors.
Yes.
Honorable Gambita, proceed.
Yes, Honorable Chairperson, thank you very much for allowing me to make a follow-up question to the witness appearing before us. Witness, just follow me and walk with me closely on this submission. I just want to put it to you that the process of constitutional amendment started way back, and I think a clarion call was made in the President's speech delivered on the floor of the House to the National Assembly of Zambia around 2023, if I'm not mistaken, and he has consistently mentioned this and the need to revisit the Constitution. At some point he had to even pinpoint some of the lacunae which exist in our Constitution, And of particular concern was Article 52(6), which he passionately mentioned that it could actually procrastinate the election if somebody just decided to be nuisance and cantankerous and decided to be withdrawing from the presidential race, which had the potential to actually extend it for several years. And following that, the Minister of Justice came to the floor of the House to give a policy statement from Cabinet on the need to amend the Constitution. And following that, a compilation of objects, and in that of particular emphasis is the fact that non-contentious issues, which would not require a referendum to be called for, non-contentious issues. And that's how come substantively 13 objects found themselves in this bill that we are debating today, Bill 7. There are 13 objects, only 13, and of these 13 you have agreed to almost all of them except for just a few. So then, why then would you maintain your stance of procrastinating the debate to even go beyond 2026 and the like, when we are dealing with non-contentious issues? So how then would you justify your call for further consultations beyond the consultations that have been done so far on these non-contentious 13 objects of this bill? I would like you to give me a justification as a member of parliament as I walk in there. What is it more that we need to consult on these 13 objects of this bill?
You can respond quickly.
Okay.
After that, we'll have the last round of questions and adjourn.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I think maybe just to start from the last question he posed, and I would use his words when it comes to judicial notice. I think I would refer to what happened in the past, where the constitutional amending process was tied to an election period, and the views of the citizens then were that we should not rush the process, and that's why we are still submitting the same position that was submitted a few years back when the process started, when we were going into an election year, and the views of the citizens were that we shouldn't really tie the two, because obviously there are other issues that the citizens are trying to deal with in terms of the election period and other electoral issues that are surrounding elections. Coming back maybe to just quickly comment on the issue of the tenure of office for mayors, I think I'll just reiterate what we've already stated. I think when it comes to issues of promoting democracy, I think the current status quo has actually shown that we are actually allowing a renewal of democratic participation amongst the citizens by allowing different people to have a chance at leading the local government. And also I think the issue of youth, I don't know, maybe because Chair, you had guided that maybe we should stick to the submissions of the bill, so it's a little bit hard for me to comment without I think giving examples of other issues surrounding how youth will be integrated after 10 years. I don't even think there will be youths for starters maybe after 10 years. So it's an assumption that there will be youths. I don't know, but the critical issue we are trying to debate here is that we are allowing for democratic participation and to allow different people, including the youths. So it's not only about youths to have the liberty of leading in these positions, but also the women, the youth themselves, and the men themselves also. So it's not about a specific individual, but about the different classes of people who can lead that office. I submit.
Just to add before you come in, Chair. Yeah, I think, Honorable, when you say these are not contentious issues, why do we have divergent views? If there were not contentious issues, we were all going to be thinking the same. But the mere fact that we have different thoughts and we are making different proposals, then we cannot call them non-contentious issues. The call was made in 2022, as you have said, but we are talking about the process itself of consultations. It started recently, and that is what we are saying. Can we expand this consultation? Otherwise, we are in agreement that this constitution needs to be amended. It is a consultation that we are calling to be extended. Why the limit on mayors? I think Janet has mentioned a lot, but you also gave an example of the experience that is gained maybe after you serve 10 years as a permanent secretary. We are looking at being appointed to a higher position, not within that position. And I think that answers. You are prepared now to go and do something else. Why hold on to that position? I think nobody is indispensable, and I think there are a lot of people. We need renewal. We need new ideas. The mere fact that the incumbents may have the political capital and make it very difficult for new entrants, so putting a term limit actually opens up doors for new people to come in with new ideas. We are not saying people should not participate, but we are saying let's put a 10-year limit so that we have this renewal of ideas and energies and representation. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Last interventions, then we close the meeting. Honorable Nyambose and Honorable Banda.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My point, Chair, is I just want to learn from the wise here. I may not understand what you mean by saying democratic right of an individual. I want you to go deeper by explaining when you say every person should be his or her democratic rights should be respected. Then in the reverse, you want to restrict that for Honorable Nyambose, his democratic right should be capped to 10. So I don't know what you mean. This is I'm just giving an example. I'm not talking about MPs. Yeah, the council chairpersons and mayors. You say that you maintain this position because you want the people to enjoy their democratic right. Again, you want to limit it. Don't you think if I'm a mayor, if you call it democratic right, it is inherent, it is with me that I should be given that opportunity. And when you look at the word democracy, meaning that I should market myself and the people should decide. Why should you want to limit it and call it democratic right? That's one thing that I wanted to find out from you when you say democratic right. I want to learn more what you mean, and you limit to someone's right. Again, you want to limit it. That is number one. Then you say consultations. The other one is about consultation, Chair. I want to get it from you. Since I was elected as a member of parliament for Chasefu, every 2 weeks I'm in my constituency and I appear on Radio Chikaya. When this discourse started, I've been talking to my people and they ask me, we need delimitation in Chasefu. Actually in Bill 10 it was being proposed, and I tell the people, I engage on radio as a member of parliament. I tell them that this constitution, if the proposed constitution should be supported, and I will support it. I'm giving an example. What you call that? Is that not consultation where I have a phone-in program? But because they are people of Chasefu, then they are not stakeholders. What would you define as the right stakeholders in the context of Zambia, legally? And if I say legally, I want to say where it is sitting, where it says unless you consult these people, it is consultation. Not the ordinary poor people of Chasefu. When I engage them, that is not consultation. Where is it sitting? How do you qualify that? And I'm on record doing that. I want to learn from you, because for me it's been adequate. And if you say adequate consultation, how do you define, or what would you call adequate and inadequate consultation for the purpose of us exercising our role as members of parliament, sitting in that house? I'm a first timer. When I was elected,
remember, can you summarize the question?
Okay, in summary, the people invested all their wisdom in me, that he is the right person to represent us, and I'm representing them. What would you call that? Which is another body that can surpass that? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Banda, then witness, also ask for clarity, then we take note of what is being asked, then we close the meeting.
Chair, a very simple question of clarification on the mayors and councillors limit. Important. We have seen people losing elections, even with a lot of resources, a lot of money. If money was the one to win elections, probably a lot of people don't have been in government, because they competed with people who had money. And you mentioned that the term limit will give advantage to those who may have no resources, literally meaning that those who have been saving will have resources and they will use it as an advantage. Now, my point of clarification that I would need from you is that since these positions, like for a mayor, previously councillors would choose a mayor from amongst themselves, but this time it was changed. It's the people within the district or a municipality or whatever you call it who chooses a mayor. Why putting it in the constitution to limit a term of someone who is supposed to be elected or not elected by people? Because people still retain the right to say, we don't want this one, we want a new person. So why should we put it in the constitution that someone should not go beyond 10 years when we know that the people can still exercise that right? And the fact that resources or no resources, a person can still win and become a mayor or a councillor. Chair, I submit.
Witness, you bank that further. Witness, it's also misleading to tell this committee that amendments don't happen in an election year. Very misleading. In 1991, prior to elections, constitutional amendments to introduce multipartism happened just before elections. 1996, constitutional amendment which culminated in amendments to bar the former president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, happened before elections. 2016, the amendments to introduce 50+1 is 2016. They happened, and the constitution was signed at Hero Stadium by former President Edgar Lungu, where the running mate clause was introduced. That was 2016, and the third Bill 10 was also towards an election. So it's not true what you're saying that there's a requirement that in an election year people must just focus on voting. It can't be true, because there's empirical evidence that elections have happened in yes. Then the other issue is that you're talking about consultation. In the Manakatwe Commission, the people wanted mixed member representation. In the Mngomba, they called for mixed member proportional representation. Again, in the technical committee, they called for mixed member proportional representation. Again, we are asking that, can we further keep on consulting? So you need to clarify why the country must consult for 30 to 40 years to introduce mixed member proportional representation, which the people have been asking for and are not being given. Delimitation is a constitutional requirement provided for, cast in black and white. So why should consultation be undertaken for something that is be operationalized? So just clarity on that, as you think. Honorable Kambita, close, then the witness may give their final remarks.
Mine will not really require an answer, but it's just an analogy or an illustration just to buttress your point. concerning consultations. I think the topic of consultations, which the witness seems to be advancing, I would illustrate it in this way. Look, if, for instance, there is a patient where you have identified there's a problem with the patient, and the patient requires surgery, and then at the time you have identified that the patient requires surgery, they also have a fever. We know that wholesomely the patient is a patient. We will not be waiting for the day when surgery will take place, probably an appointment of 6 months later, that we should resolve all the problems at the time when we will carry out surgery. If they present with a fever, we need to treat that fever, because it's a non-contagious issue. It just requires treatment there and then. These 13 objects of this bill are non-contagious and they require treatment now. So we can't be waiting until that time when we should carry out the whole surgery, which includes a referendum, because we are touching part 3 of the Constitution, for us to attend to them. Let's attend to the fever now. We can deal with the surgery at the time when it is ripe to be carried out. I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Kambita. Witness, response, clarity, and give your final remarks. Your last one, Honorable Sabah.
Me, I'm always short. On the object 4, on the PR, our witness said that we would like to highlight that the affirmative action alone will not guarantee gender equality in Parliament. As a YWC, I understand that your core business to do with women, and then we've been given this opportunity through this Bill 7 that we've been given 20 seats for women, and you as an organization are submitting to this committee that this affirmative action is not the right way to go. Meanwhile, as women, we've been fighting for this, that we want affirmative action, and we know that within the region, most of the countries, for instance, Rwanda, Uganda, they've managed to come up with the numbers for women because of the affirmative action. However, my understanding is that if we are given this 20 come next year, it means from these 20 women who have been in Parliament for 5 years, after 5 years, these will have the capacity, more capacity to compete with men in the constituencies, and then we'll have another set of 20. It means this is a starting point for us to increase our numbers. I'll be very honest with you, right now across the country, if you've been checking the social media, there are very few women who've come on board to want to contest next year. There are very few, and those few want to contest. You know what they are doing? They are going in the constituencies where there are already women. They are leaving out the constituencies where there are men. My feeling is that this platform is giving us an opportunity that if we are given 20, these 20 will have the capacity come 2031 to contest in the constituencies, and we bring another set of 20. Then we'll be building up. So now from you to have this submission of saying this affirmative action will not guarantee gender equality in Parliament, then I would ask you, what would be your submission away from this affirmative action? I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Witness, you can proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I will mainly respond to the aspect of limiting terms for mayors. I think, speaking as a youth, not removing the limits actually will undermine the participation of the young people. Historically, we have seen that leaving the status quo as it is undermines the participation of young people. People have held offices for so many years that prevents for the young people to come on board and actually competing for those same positions. So why should we not limit the participation, the terms of the mayoral positions, if we want more youth to be participating in the democratic process of elections? I think that is an anomaly that we must correct through this bill, Bill 7, if you asked me. This practice, I think there was a question that was asked to say, where is it happening? We have seen precedents in Kenya and also in South Africa where they have limited mayoral terms, and this has been happening very well. Why can't we as a country adopt the same thing if we want our youth to continue participating in the political space? I submit, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Sabal, you have a follow-up.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Order witness, this is the last intervention. There was a follow-up on that submission.
A follow-up question on the last speaker before I forget my line of thought. The line of thought by the honorable member when she said that you give 10 years to this youth and then after 10 years you are removed from the office of mayor. What she was trying to say is that looking at our environment, it's very difficult. You are a council chairperson for 10 years. Maybe you enter the office when you are maybe 29, 30 years. Then 10 years later, you are 42 years. You are removed. It's very difficult for them to find something outside that, even to be employed by any, for instance, government. They will not employ you. So that is what she was trying to say, that if that person is a good leader in that community, why not allow them to work for the community? Not until the community, they say, we no longer need you. Unlike that was her line of thinking. I submit, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. I will repeat what was mentioned earlier to say no one is irreplaceable. The only reason why some people actually go on serving is because other people have not been exposed to the type of opportunities that they have. You sitting in a mayoral position exposes you to the people and they're able to gauge your abilities, unlike somebody who's just coming on the scene. And so, coming to your question and to your doubts as to how a youth will be able to integrate, I think this has happened in many settings where people have joined politics and they've gone back to integrating society. It's because of the things that people do while they're in politics that they fail to reintegrate after leaving political office. Otherwise, that should not be our contention at this point in time, because it is possible. Depending, you have a career, you have studied, you have a career, and you have probably networked with a lot of people. How would you fail to then go back in society and continue serving? Because this is not a permanent position. And people have the right to remove anyone, and that should not make the person fail to reintegrate back in the community. So I do strongly feel that that is not something that we should be debating on as to whether somebody will fail to reintegrate, because that is possible. Thank you.
Maybe in the same vein, I just want to find out, maybe is mayoral a full-time job or is ceremonial as well?
It's a full-time constitutional role. And just for guidance, there is no term limit on mayors in South Africa. I heard there was that submission. There is no such thing. In Kenya, yes.
May I come in, Chair?
Yes, you can proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair. So I want to react on the aspect of the democratic rights. I think we are very consistent in talking about democratic renewal. So that is what we are calling for. We are not talking about democratic rights. And the aspect of proportional representation, I think our submission states that we strongly recommend that we agree that this proportional representation. So what we are proposing is an additional to safeguard the elected seats, because we can have the 20 there. Political parties may not adopt women for elective positions and tell them, no, we are adopting you on the 20. So we are on record that we are supporting the proportional representation where women are going to be nominated, and we are also proposing additional recommendation that even on the elective seats we have a safeguard there, so that political parties are mandated to adopt more women for these elective positions. On the example that has been given about the fever and the operation, I think we are not talking about a human being here. We are talking about a process that won't die even if we extend it. So we cannot liken it to a human being, because I think we've got different, I think it is totally, it's a different example we are giving. So we still submit that these consultations can be extended so that we get more broad-based input from the masses. On the radio consultations, I don't know whether I can call those consultations. I don't know a difference between sensitization when I go on radio and I'm talking, oh, there is this constitution, and up to now we haven't even seen that delimitation report. Even people are calling, maybe even in Chasef it won't even, there might not be any delimitation, we don't know. So when we sensitize on radio, it is more of a sensitization. A consultation should be meaningful, where you sit and dialogue, and that is what we want. It is not a sensitization, Honorable. I submit, Chair, and we just thank you for bringing us here today.
YWCA, we see your passion, and we thank you for coming before this select committee. And the purpose of this select committee is to receive views in their divergence. So we are most grateful that you took time, and your submission forms a component of our report. And we hope that as you go out there, you will continue to execute your mandate, where you are championing women participation in various thematic areas. We thank you most sincerely, and would like to lift that immunity that was conferred on you, so that you continue enjoying the greater immunity in the community. Thank you very much.
Being with us on Parliament Television. There you have it. The Young Women Christian Association has made its submission before the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed to scrutinize the Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 7 of 2025. And I must make mention that at 14:30 we will bring you live the parliamentary proceedings for today. So keep watching Parliament Television. Good afternoon.